In this tutorial, we're going to use the Join Multiple tool, a tool in Alteryx that allows you to join more than two data sets together, provided that all of them share something that can be aligned together. So an ID, or in the case of this example, the name of a state. The data that we're going to be combining together is museum data, which I've summarized to calculate to count the number of museums per state. A state map table, which maps the state name to an abbreviation, and a GDP per capita table, which was also available in the downloadable files for the chapter, and our allocate input, which has some census data in it. I've used a find and replace tool as well as some data cleansing and other things in order to get the data into a format that all of the fields match each other. If you're having problems getting this to work, that's the most likely cause of it. You have something that looks like it's the same but isn't quite right. Frequently it's a different data type, or there's leading and trailing spaces, or you've just, I just spent about 45 minutes realizing that I just didn't trim spaces correctly. So there's plenty of different things that could go wrong here, but keys not matching tends to be the most likely explanation. Now, if you go up into the join bar, you'll notice that there is a join multiple that you can drag down. And for this, you're going to, it automatically created one connection, and now we're going to create a second and a third. I don't know what the exact limit is on how many you can drag, but things do get out of hand if you're not careful about it. I would recommend breaking into smaller steps if you have more than a handful of these to do at the same time. But now that we've got it, what we're going to want to do is specify from inputs 1, 2, and 3 what we want to join on. So input 1 has city 2. That, after our find and replace tool, is the name of a state. In number 2, we have the name of a state. And in input 3, we have name, which is, again, the name of a state. Now that we've got what fields have to be equal across all tables, we'll go down and select what we want as our outputs and what order we want them in. So I'm going to start by deselecting everything, because we're going to begin with a blank slate. And I know that I'm going to want the museum count. So I am renaming museum count, or renaming from input 1 the field named count into museum count. Next, I know that we're going to want the state name, which is city 2, but we'll call that state. What else do we need? We need the GDP per capita. GDP per capita. And finally, we need the population. Now, I've not selected state coming from input 2, state coming from input 3, or key, which we never needed in the first place. Once I go to the in and out menu, I can select and drag and drop a browse in here, and then when I click run, it will go through, and we've got a state name, how many museums are in that state, the GDP per capita, and the population of that state. So our multi-join has worked correctly. With this in hand, we should have what it is that we need in order to figure out if there's a correlation between GDP per capita, population, and museums.